Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome to another Professional Friday. Today is a pretty special Professional Friday because we have my flatmate and longtime collaborator Alican Kuzu here. And before we get into introducing him, I actually wanted to show you guys a little bit of his work and then we will say hello to him. So just to give you kind of like an idea of what this creative guy is up to. Alright, let's check it out together. Here is his demo reel, his director reel from 2022. There's a few new things he worked on, but we're gonna talk about those together in a bit. Alright, here we go. Oh wow, that was pretty cool stuff.
Wow.
Oh wow, what are you doing here? So this is Ali.
Just spawned. Don't spawn kill me.
He just spawned in to give us an interview. Yeah, that was some pretty cool stuff, dude.
Yeah, thank you. It was a lot of work.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of work.
I still have some issues, pain, and yeah. No, it's all gone. I thought it will not go away, but you can recover from projects,
From too much creativity, from too much amazing videos.
for work, but creativity too, because sometimes you have ideas and they don't go away. Even if the project is finished, you still keep thinking about it. What could you do differently? Yeah.
Some deep conversation directly.
Yeah.
We've got Spliff Kim in the chat already here. What's up, man? And Keanu also. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
All right, so I guess to start this whole thing off, like maybe it would be interesting to like kind of like tell our story, like because it's the first time where I have interviewed guests like here in the same
Oh
spot.
God, that's
So,
our story.
what is our story? Do you want to start with that?
Yeah. It was funny. I don't know how long it is ago. I think already 10 years or so, or maybe 9 years. I don't know. It's a long time. And there was a opening party of. It's actually 10 years because a friend posted a picture and he said it's 10 years since this party, and it was a YouTube Space opening party, and I had a lot of pain in my body because we were working on project and we just didn't sleep and just went to that party, and at some point I had like my knee was hurting a lot, and I thought, okay, I can go home or I can drink so much that I stop feeling this pain. And I decided the second thing, because we were working like for months and now we have a party and I just wanted to party. I was young and
Just celebrating the finish of the project.
yeah, and then I drank and then I realized I cannot go home anymore because there was no train. And
You
then
were not living in Berlin at that point.
yeah,
right?
I was in Potsdam, and there was no train anymore, and I just went to Mr. Trashback, the YouTuber. I just pointed at him. He was sitting on a couch. I just pointed at him and I said, "I will sleep today on your couch." And he
No
just
choice.
said yes. Okay. And I remember we were the last three guys left at the party. The party was over. No music, nobody was around. Just Trashy, me, and Christoph Krachten.
The classic YouTube legend.
We were so deep focused in our talk, and then I just felt someone poking my feet, like, and then I looked, and there was this I don't know how to call this service guy with his broom, and he was just brooming us out.
Get out of here.
Yeah, and then we went into a taxi and then went to Trashy, and I just remember I see the couch like Terminator, and then he shakes me awake again, and it's day. Suddenly it was like this, and I was still drunk. And he was like, and he was also still drunk. He was like, "Oh, stand up! We have to go to the YouTube thingy because it was
It was the video days, right?
yeah, video days. It was multiple days, and he had an interview to do. He was famous back then. I don't know if it is still going on, but he was like,
I've got no idea what he's doing now.
yeah, we have to invite him to a party. I talked to him a few days ago.
Oh, okay.
Marie and
and
Hart
then
said, Hi,
he gave his
I'm here
interview
after a
and
long
he
time.
just
Nice
placed
to be
me on
here. 100.
a couch.
Marie just came by and said hi. Hi, Marie. Welcome to the interview.
I was talking to some people there, annoying them with I don't know what. And one guy sat there and wasn't going away. Everybody was like listening for, I don't know, 2 minutes, and then they had enough and they just went because they realized I'm drunk. But one guy just was sitting there and wasn't going away, and it was him.
Yeah, because you like you were obviously wasted, right? Like completely exhausted. You had like
I was still drunk.
Yeah, you had like a weird vibe on that couch, like kind of like a vibe of like
Yeah.
don't approach me, right? So like you wanted your space. It felt like
No, I wasn't. Okay, that's maybe my normal aura I have, but I was just sitting there. I'm just trying to be friendly, and I don't know what I wanted. I just wanted to talk to some people and entertain them. I don't know, but
Yeah.
nobody liked me except you.
yeah, but you like it was cool. Like we talked there. I was also there on the video days for a little performance I did together with a friend. So I was like backstage and you were backstage.
Yeah.
And we just like were talking and introducing each other. And Ali told me about like a crazy web series he planned and he
Yeah.
wrote. It's called Retro Garden, and that was kind of like the start of a big adventure we did together. Right?
Yeah. I think back then it wasn't that much evolved. I was still working on the other YouTube series with Dark Victory, and then I think we met each other end of 2014 or sometime 2015, I think. Yeah, it was 2015. It's not 10 years ago. It's 9 years actually, and then end of 2015, I did a job as an actor. My first and only job as an actor for a commercial.
Wait, I'm gonna show these pictures in the background.
Oh yeah, but that was, I think, that was 2015 or 16. I don't know.
Yeah, so basically Ali worked together with Mick and Costa on this web series called Tube Clash. It's where like German YouTubers like fought against each other as a cartoon animation style, and you guys did basically one episode every week.
Yeah.
And it was insane because like
it
people could like also write in the comments what they want to see, and then
Yeah.
you guys write the script and animate everything all in 1 week.
Which is also an interesting thing. We had a shit ton of people watching this and commenting. We had like 30,000 comments on one video. And we had to write an extra tool for that because we had to have access to every comment. But YouTube was restricting it to just 2,000 comments, and then it was like sunken. The rest wasn't available anymore.
Oh, damn.
So and back then YouTube was still very accessible from the creator to the YouTube side. You had always someone who was like your manager, and we had contact to them, and so we knew that was just from their programming side. It wasn't possible to get these comments, and then we wrote an extra tool to get these comments. And what was interesting about this story writing, because we were using the ideas of the people to write the story for the next episode, and we just realized, okay, we can come up with everything. We can just write a story on our own and then just look in the comments for that type of idea. And on
I see.
30,000 comments, I can tell you, your idea is nothing unique. There are at least 100 people who had the same idea, and you were like, "Oh my God, this is so amazing! Nobody will have this idea." We searched for it. It was like,
so basically, you would write a script and then just like more like look into the comments and see who had that idea
kinda. We were actively reading throughout, I think, Saturday. The comments. The episode was online and on Friday evening, and then we had like almost a day to read comments, and then but it was like a day off. So when you read comments, it was like in your free time, and everybody was like, what was like done with the world when you work on an entire week, like.
Of course, and like in a crunch mode like that, where you have to animate like.
I mean, you know it. You also worked on this series.
Yeah. But when I joined, we already had much more people, right? Like when you did it, it was only the three of you guys, right?
The first season was just 3 people, and I mean, it also looks like it was done by 3 people. We had not many resources. We had not much experience, particularly in 3D. It was all 3D was rendered to 2D and then just painted over and made something animated out of it. And then you came in and you made this crazy animated DeLorean and whatever stuff with thunder and icebergs and whatever.
I guess we can show the third, like the intro I just showed you guys. That was from season 2, and now we move on to season 3 where I joined.
Yeah, you need to find it. This is not the one. This is.
Oh, I see. This is not the theme song.
Maybe that.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah. So this is basically the upgrade to like we worked on the final season. I think with like 6 or 7 people.
Yeah, but I was only storyboarding, and I was only for 2 episodes or so in because someone was sick, and I just helped a little bit with compositing. So I wasn't working that much on this because I was already working on Retrograde.
Right. Yes.
And but you could get a job there, which was cool.
Yeah, I mean, you connected me with Mick and like kind of like recommended you as your place in.
Yeah, but that was because they wanted to upgrade to more 3D, and I wasn't able to do that back then.
Yeah, we've got Kilua says that his girlfriend was a big fan back then.
Yeah.
He also watched it as a kid. Nice.
Yeah, interesting because, I mean, I'm now 35. I was like 25 as we started, and it's interesting because back then all these kids were like 12, 14, many were 16 already, like almost 18, and now they are like, when I see them, they have a big beard and are much bigger than me, and in every direction bigger than me.
You're already
on every axis, have much better skills than I do. Back then already, we had one situation. There was one fan. She just came with this picture and just gave it to me, and I was completely silent. It was a picture of me. She draw me so perfectly. It was like a photograph. I was like, holy shit. How can someone make something like this? I was completely silent. I couldn't say anything. And she was also silent because she was like, I think, nervous or something. And she was like handing it out to me very, very slowly. And I was taking it very, very slowly. I was like, oh my God. These people are so much better.
Most beautiful artwork you've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought, why are you fans of us? We should be fans of you. Yeah, I just love good art. I just love stuff like that. Amazing. He was, or she was, I don't know.
It's Kilua, it's Eric. Yeah, he was like 14 to 15. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
You're hired. Yeah, that's what you should have said. Just look at it. You're hired.
Yeah, I think a lot of people who worked there were like that. I mean, some people were fans and now they work there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, Mick is like now like his studio's called Dark Victory Studios now,
Yeah.
right? Do you know how many people work there with him?
How many?
Yeah.
Right now, I know one, two, three, three at least now actively. But he also has like his audio stuff going on, and he hires a lot of speakers for that. A lot of what's the name? Voice actors for that. Because as I was there a few days ago, there were already people coming in and going out, and it's just amazing how he is so skilled as a director for voice acting. It's just you go in. I mean, I'm not a good voice actor, but I go in and he easily directs me through all this stuff, and he knows my insecurities and can handle it, and we are just like, it's so easy to make it, and I'm like, my god, if I could make money with this. And I mean, I cannot make money with this because not every director is like Mick, Dark Victory. But if I could, I would make it. It's so much fun, but he has not much things for me to do. My voice is just too strange,
Too special. I feel like we already went into like a lot of deep stuff of your like experiences. I would like to kind of like start in the beginning with you again, kind of like where your creative journey and passion for filmmaking came from.
My passion.
Yeah.
Wow. Because I was always doing film and stuff like that. I mean comics, and I just remember one thing. I came to Germany as a refugee, so and back then in the 90s there was not much to do for a refugee child. You had no toys, you had almost nothing to draw with or make something. You had I mean, we had a television, but we had no channels for that because we had no cable connection or whatever. So I just realized I could make with a knife connected to a cable, and I could use it as an antenna. And I was back then I was like 6 or 7.
What would you do with an antenna?
I don't know. I was experimenting a lot with electricity, and I almost killed myself a few times. But then I realized I can watch Power Rangers and some channels. There was not much, like 5 channels or something I could find with that, and I could watch it, and it was very choppy, very like noisy. But that was the only thing I could like access. But there was another thing on Nutella. They had always this small comics of Tom and Jerry.
In Nutella? In the jar?
Yeah, on the
lid?
Yeah, on this. I don't know what the
lid.
Yeah, the lid. There was like a little like a plastic window, and there was this tiny comic, and I just started to draw this stuff. I just copied it like in bigger, and back then I said to myself, if I grow up, I will make something with comics. And but I knew I wanted to make movies, but I didn't see myself there. Like many people who have no idea how movie making works, how the industry works, how everything movie related works. It just when you are a child, it just it's like fallen from the sky, like this amazing movies like Jurassic Park.
Yeah, they just happen somehow.
Yeah. And I remember around that time, I was at my cousin's home, and we watched TV. I don't know if it was a VHS or if it was just on the television. They showed a making of Jurassic Park, and I saw Jurassic Park and I loved it as a child. But I thought, okay, I have no idea how they did this. And then on the making of, I saw they made a lot of animatronics. And I remember they were hitting the T-Rex with the pillows.
Uh-huh.
No, not with the pillows. What is the name? Handtuch.
Towels.
Towels, yeah, with the towels. And I asked my cousin, like, why are they doing this? And he responded, they try to make it angry so it plays better in the scene.
Method acting from animatronics.
He had no idea. He was young too, and a bit older than me, but he was young too. And I think he actually believed that. But the thing was, I then thought, my God, I want to make dinosaur robots and I want to make movies with them, like they did there. That was like my impression of this thing, and I think that moment was actually the plant that was seeded in me for the future. So I was really like, every opportunity I had to make something with film, I was like, my eyes and my ears were ready to just suck it in and replicate it. And as soon as I had a computer with a webcam, I started making stop motions with that. I just placed the camera, I recorded it, and my hands were moving in and out. It was not stop motion like with photographs. So it was like just recording and then just taking out the frames and putting them together. And I could then mix also like when I had my Lego figures in my hand, fight them. But it was much later. I was like already 12 or 11, 12 or something. So then we were already German citizens, and it was just much of a different situation. And we were in another city. I had friends, and we had a lot of stuff to work with, but we had no camera. And then my stepfather bought a very cheesy, cheap camera, like, I don't know, from China or whatever. Was very, very small and very light, completely made of plastic. And it had a SD card of 12 megabytes.
How much video can you fit on that?
A minute. And it was not full 24 frames. It was like 12 or so something frames. It was very, very... And this early YouTube video style, like... You cannot really... You just see the person, but you don't see the face.
Wow, technology! How far we've come.
Yeah, I just took that thing and we went out. We were doing parkour, and I just recorded everything. And when the minute was full, we were deleting like the takes which were not so good. But at some point we had only good takes left. And I ran home, put that on the computer, ran back, and we kept shooting. And I was editing that stuff every night, and we were like making one video every day. We got a lot of criticism for that and on the forums for parkour and stuff.
Oh, you also uploaded those
Yeah. On Rapid Share, there was no YouTube back then. It was like YouTube started, I think, end of 2014, and we started early 2014. So we had 1 year without YouTube. And we were just uploading it on Rapid Share. I don't know if anyone knows that. It was like we share.
I feel like YouTube must be older than 10 years though, right?
2004. I mean 2004, not 14.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry. My brain is making a breakdance. And then... my mother just saw how I was like fixated on this camera, and it broke at some point. It just didn't turn on anymore. I think it was just too much what I did with it. And then she got me a DV camera with a much better resolution, much better frame rate, and more options and stuff like that. And I started actually making short films. But I still wasn't thinking of a career as a filmmaker. It was really like by accident. I had the situation. I was going the direction my teachers told me, because I was not on a fancy school. It was like in Germany, it's like the second least good school you can go.
Like Hauptschule, Realschule.
Yeah, Hauptschule. Yeah, I was on Hauptschule, and there is also for the not so good guys, the Sonderschule. It's the one below where I was. I could go for, I think, 1 year longer, and then I would have the middle thing, but I didn't wanted to do that, and so I had this education level, which was like not very promising, and I just looked for jobs like for this education level, but I had still very, very good grades. It was like almost an A for the entire thing when you put everything together. And no matter where I applied, they replied back, you're overly
Overqualified.
yeah, overqualified for this job. And I'm like, what the fuck? What? And at some point, I was frustrated. I stayed home, at home, and then I found this drama school, and they wrote with good grades, you can also come with this education level. I just called him, and he said, come tomorrow. We will make some tests with you.
Oh, like a drama theater school?
Yeah, for actors and for directors, but it was very actor focused. Yeah, and then I went there, and they tested me one day, and then they invited me for 2 weeks of this what is it called when you test?
Yes, like the welcoming tests.
Yeah,
Qualifications?
Qualification test, like, yeah. And I got in barely because I was very undisciplined. They gave us every week. It was actually 3 weeks. They gave us every week 30 pages of material to read and to work through. And the funny thing was, I was back then 19 or something, and there was another guy, he was already 30, and he was very, very diligent. The last day we come there, I have not opened my stuff. I didn't. I just put it in my bag and put it out again. I didn't really. I didn't read one sentence of it. I don't know what was wrong with me. But however, the guy puts his stuff out. It's like I think he ate it and he spit it out again and ate it again.
It was like all crumbly and like notes and stuff.
Yeah, notes everywhere. It was like this thick. He had a lot of extra notes in it, and he also got to the library and got some books.
Damn, a real Streber.
Yeah, and then our main teacher, our professor, also the school director, he was like leading the school, and he was like the most present teacher there. He said, okay, go out. You have half an hour to read as much as you can, because he wanted to discuss the content of this. And then I went out, and half an hour, I'm a very, very, very slow reader. I read like 2.5 times slower than a normal person. I just got through like 10 pages out of 90 and then went back in. I thought, okay, this is over. I can go home and do this bullshit jobs. My teachers told me I'm only able to do that. And then we started discussing, and I could say much more than this guy who had this. He was just over prepared. His brain was exploding, and and I could discuss. And then our teacher said, "Okay, I take you in, but you really have to work on your discipline. No matter how how good you are in taking in stuff by just reading 10 pages out of 90, and still being able to discuss the entire content."
So it's like you're just really good with working with information, right? And like it's extrapolating it and like making your thoughts about them.
Yeah. I mean, it was all stuff about filmmaking, about acting, about what makes sense in story terms and stuff like that. And I was into it. I was not very educated. I had for a lot of things no word. Like, it was also interesting. I was there, I don't know, for 1 year or something, and I was describing contrast by saying, okay, I need to make the blacks blacker and the whites whiter, and I did not know the term for that. I was just a stupid guy with a social circle of stupid other guys, and my family was also not very educated. I mean, they were supportive.
Yeah, I mean that your mom got your DV recorder, like a DV camera. That was super nice.
And she also got me drawing stuff. I had an endless supply of paper and colors and stuff like that. So she was always supporting me, but she had no clue because I was living in Ludwigsburg, all close to Ludwigsburg. I could just walk to Ludwigsburg, and they have this one of the most famous European film schools. It was just on my doorstep, and I didn't know until I got to the other film school, which was far away and which was not really what I wanted to make. I wanted to make technical stuff and stuff, animation and whatever. And Film Academy in Ludwigsburg had that. And the school where I went was very actor-based, which was good for me because otherwise I would never have the balls and the diligence or whatever it needs to delve into this. And it was amazing to work with these actors, with method acting actually. And at some point I also said to myself, okay, some of our teachers don't know I'm a director student. I'm not a actor student, but they think that, and I will not correct them. Instead, I will make them believe it more by trying to be as good as I can in acting stuff in these acting classes they make. I failed in some points spectacularly because I'm not very
expressive.
We had also pantomime and also jazz dance, which is ballet. And I was like, I'm very bad at memorizing dancing moves, like what comes after what. So I always tried to be like behind so I could see the others and just like just mirror dance. And I was always like, I don't know, 5 seconds behind. Like
not obvious at all.
And every move was like not it was the people were making like this, and I was like, okay, what comes next? And I got like so much hate from the teachers. They were like always stopping. Ale, how do you want to make this school? How do you want to make it as an actor? I'm like, I'm not a clown. Something is flying around. It's windy outside sometimes.
Let me close the door real quick.
Yeah, and then I didn't finish the school because I knew it was just a lot of stress in the end, and it wouldn't really worth it. I know I already realized in the business of filmmaking, the only thing you need is a good past work. And I realized, I can make this last film I have to make. It was actually 2 things. One was a theater stage-based thing for 1 hour. It was first for 90 minutes, but I said I cannot make 90 minutes of stage play plus 30 minutes of short film. And then it was like lowered down to 60 minutes of stage play, which was still a lot. And I first tried, but then it was just 1 month left. And I said, okay, I cannot do this. It's just too much stress, and I don't have anything from it because it will all be garbage. And I'm like taking all these people working with me, and by knowing it will be garbage, I wrote the screenplay in one night. It was 30 pages. I mean,
whoa, 30 pages in one night?
Yeah, I wrote one screenplay in one night, 30 pages, and the other night I wrote another screenplay, 30 pages. I don't know.
Just wrote down what came to your mind, like without filter, or how did you do that?
I don't know. I don't remember. But the interesting thing is, it was very the both screenplays were very different. The one was a comedy. And the other one was a drama, a little bit of action too. It was about a virus. One guy, there were 3 people on an island researching on I don't know, some alien stuff that landed there. And at some point, something breaks out, and one of them is outside of the bunker they were operating, and then he comes back, and he's obviously got something, and they cannot let him in, and they slowly watch him transform or die or whatever, I don't remember. And inside there are two people, so they are like discussing, and at some point they fight each other. One wants to open the door and one doesn't want to open the door, so it was a very basic plot. And the other one was, I mean, I was working with the same actors in my mind. I had three people, two guys and one girl. And the other one was a gangster runs away from the cops, hides on a rooftop, and at that point he realizes there's a suicidal guy who wants to jump down, and police are looking for that gangster, and he thinks, okay, when that idiot jumps down, they will come up here and find me. And then they will maybe think I pushed him or something. So he stops him from jumping.
That's a good setup, yeah.
And then they fight. And at some point, a female photographer comes up, wants to make some nice photos up there. And she doesn't know the backstory of both of them. And has like this good vibes, and gives both of them good vibes to change. And then she goes away, and both of them just go down, and the guy doesn't jump. And later you see, okay, he got his life under control, and the gangster, kinda. But then you see, okay, he still is in some trouble, and then he says, okay, people are not changing that much, that fast. And that was it. It was like a very basic plot, and I was like just hammering my keyboard and writing these two stories. I still remember them. It's interesting.
Yeah, all right. So we got. I feel like we got like a full recap of your childhood and up to.
No, not full. I mean, there's a lot. I have a good memory.
Still not in current day, but I guess let's maybe move on to the next one to kind of like talk about your favorite creative project or experience that you had.
Boy, that's hard. That's really hard, because I always try to find fulfillment in everything I make, and I would really recommend this as a mindset. It changed a lot for me, because for a long time I had this passion projects for myself, and then the jobs, and I just tried to finish the jobs as fast as I can, so I have the money to work on my own projects for a while. But the problem is, it turns out not that great, and people are not coming back to give you another job. So you're always financially struggling. You cannot show what you worked on. It just looks like a big hole in your portfolio. And I had a very bad time. We were already living together. You remember, I had like from 2017 to end of 2018, I was like completely, I wrecked myself financially like 7 times in a row. I mean, I was never in debt, but I was always like on zero, like, and there was no way to get money. It was always like, suddenly I had luck and I had a job, and then you helped me a lot finding jobs. And I remember I was just sitting down and I said to myself, okay, I think I'm skilled. How did I end up like this? And then I realized, okay, I'm just making garbage for other people. I have to change that. And as soon as I changed it, everything became my baby. And sometimes it can also become dangerous, because you put so much thought into it, and then you really want to have the thing like this way, and some people don't, and
people just don't get it.
But you have to work with that, and and that's also part of it. When someone who has more say or whatever, someone who decides the thing what appears to you as the wrong way to do it, you still have to step back and say, okay, I take that and I will make the best of it. I will still make it work. And I think that's really the thing. Make it legit, make it work. All the projects I worked on all had less money, less budget than it looks like. It was always like, okay, we have something where Chris, our producer, went to one of the animation cinematic studios, and we already had our concept, and he showed them the concept, and he said, okay. He asked what would this cost, and they said 225,000 at least, and we would chop this thing to a more lean and smaller thing. And then I took it and I made it for 25,000. And
that was the wildlife trailer?
Yeah, the wildlife teaser.
All right, let's
I mean, it is not that professional as this company would make it, because they make all this great cinematics of movies and games.
Yeah, while we're on that, I would like to show it to the people here.
Yeah.
Also with sound, because I think too, this is like a really cool. This turned out really well. Like a lot of good people, or not a lot of, like you, Jonah, and the animation team in the company, right?
Yeah. The animation team was not really active on it. They were like for 3-4 days just fixing a little bit of animations. Mainly it was me and Jonah and one animation guy. He was not officially in the animation team. We hired him. He was from Ubisoft, and he made the very nice animation of the Pharaoh, and he cleaned up. He basically made like 90% of the animations or cleanups in this thing alone.
Well, let's watch it before we keep talking, so people can understand what we are talking about.
Yeah.
And also, warning: this is an adult game, but the video itself is fine. Like it's not.
Yeah, there is a little bit of ass in it, but
not too much ass.
Beast and man walked side by side.
Not much.
Together we grew.
Yeah, and later there were a lot of people on the sound. There were more people on the sound than on the images. Much more, like
So
3
blind
times.
are skyborn outsiders.
And this was all Unreal Engine 4 still, and with ray tracing.
There's a few shots that are not Unreal rendered.
Yeah.
But beneath the veil
the
of
close-up
beauty
ass shot is
lies
not
feral instinct.
Unreal because of the water, and the close-up of this one is also not Unreal because
aroused
of the
by
fur.
common purpose.
And in the
protect
end, there's
what is
also
sacred.
one shot because of the trees and stuff like that. Everything is now possible in Unreal 2, but this was back
Our
then
people
in
stand
2020
together.
or 21. This is all made from this.
We will not
by this
lie down.
animator. He's so good. He was like nailing one
We will
animation
not
every day,
submit.
sometimes 2. And he was just working for
We
4
are
hours with
the
his hands.
Kabali.
Main job. He was very, not very happy with the work. He wanted more time, but sometimes we were really like, we delivered half a minute too late.
Half a minute too late.
Yeah, but it was
shit.
okay. It was okay. Half a minute is okay.
All right.
Yeah, and like I said, it was all Unreal Engine 4.7 or something.
And you directed this, right?
Yeah, I made the storyboard, like just brainstorming something we can show. We had not much of the story. We had almost nothing of the story. We had just this concept, and we had a lot of people in the company who wanted this game to be this or that or that or that. And I just went back because I was in the team for a long time. I just jumped back a few years, and I thought, okay, what was this game from the concept before all these people came in and wanted to make it like Genshin Impact or Zelda or whatever. I just remembered one thing. Our Chris said to me, he said, Mad Max with space pirates who come to a desert jungle planet. And that was like my concept of it. And I just tried to nail this feeling of, and you see it when you watch it with that knowledge. It's artificial light of the spaceships and stuff like that versus the natural light of the fire and the thunders and the later the sun. So I didn't think that consciously, but in the end I saw, okay, I played a lot with light. I always say I paint more with shadows than with light because my stuff is always very dark.
Yeah, but it's true. Like you've got so much more control over emotions and how a video or a picture looks like by utilizing the shadows. Shadows just have so much more power than the light, actually.
I also love silhouettes, so you can see it all there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I then sat down and made this storyboard. Unfortunately, I have it with me, but it is very, very similar from what it turned out. And then there was one thing later from the writing side. I mean, we had no script. I just knew we will have like a dialogue, and we had so much stress, and I knew I had to write this dialogue because we need the audio to be made. And I told John, the Asian YouTuber, he was at the company back then for a week or two to help me out. And I told him what I want. I wrote a little text, and he sat down with Steve, the vision keeper of this game, and they wrote like a monologue. I read it and I'm like, dude, this monologue is like 8 minutes long. And he was like, yeah, we thought you can just take a little bit away. And I'm like, well, how much do you want me to take away? It's too much, too long. And then I wrote something on my own. I just took the animatic, like how far it was with subtitles, and I just put some subtitles in it, and I just was reading it out loud so I could see, okay, can this fit from the length? Then Chris took the clip because we needed sound design and showed it to a friend in LA, and he owns a big sound audio studio, and they made the audio for the trailer of the Avatar game. And I knew that, and I thought, oh my god, I don't want to embarrass ourselves. I will make the best images I can. And then this guy, he looked at it and he said, okay, images are perfect, but the monologue is shit. It's you can just feel this is not written by a native and not written by a writer. It has no depth to it. You can see what this person tried to do, but it doesn't work. And then they gave it to a writer at their company. I don't know his name, but it's in the credits on Vimeo. He did a really good job, I think. And then we had a voice actress here in Germany. She's very, very famous. She speaks all the hero characters for every game, like Lara Croft and whatever on Horizon and stuff like that.
We've got the name. It's written by Aaron Pollack.
Yeah.
I feel like I know that name. It's
possible.
Seems very familiar.
Yeah. And then our voice actress became sick, and they hired another one in LA, and I didn't have the audio 2 hours before it went out. They sent it to me, and they were like all shaky, like, okay, what will the director say? I listened to it and I was like, yes.
Perfection.
Yeah, amazing stuff. I mean, this guy's just you see they work in Hollywood. They I mean, before the audio was in, it didn't feel like that. When you just watch it without audio, it's just another level. The audio makes it this high level.
Audio adds a lot for sure.
Yeah. I mean, audio is like 80%, I would say. You can make the most beautiful images when the audio sounds like an amateur film. It ruins everything. You see, like it's like directing your eyes towards the stuff that didn't work on the images well. Like when you have a bad cut and you hear the cut.
Yeah. With every cut, there's just like a little fart.
Yeah.
So would you say this was your favorite project to work on then? Or?
Yeah, from the people side, yes. There were a little bit of stuff that didn't work out well. but I don't want to go into detail. We still stayed friends. It was, I mean, they understood. I was very stressed. I was doing most of it myself, like finishing all this, many shots. I think this thing has 25 or 24 shots, and I made like, except of the 3 which were made by Yona, I made all of them myself, like in Unreal Engine, rendered them with multiple passes, and I mean, I wasn't sleeping for weeks, like just 1 hour or so. And my mother moved out of her flat and moved to Turkey, so we had to take care of that. I just went there for I don't know how many hours. I just remember my phone showed me I had almost 50,000 steps made one day.
Wow.
And the other day was like 20,000. And I didn't sleep.
Oh my god, doing 50,000 steps without sleep is insane.
Yeah, and I was like delivering this thing. Like it was like the last week of delivering this thing. And I could not tell my mother, no, I cannot come to your party moving to Turkey because I'm finishing a project. She doesn't understand this stuff. she feels betrayed.
It's like, you're not really doing stuff.
Yeah, I mean, she asked me like a year or so back. I was at my she and I were at my sister's place, and she asked me, "Do you still work as a director?" I'm like, "Mom, what the fuck? Don't you look at my Instagram or something?" Okay, I'm not sharing much, but when you look at my I mean, you see, I work. Yeah,
You've got stuff to do. Yeah.
What do you think where the money comes from? Yeah, but I would say, yeah, from the people side, and the other one is Infinite, I would say, which we made a year before that.
The short film we made, yeah.
Yeah, and that was also an amazing experience we had together. It was, I mean, Kevin did the camera, but also a little bit of directing, we have to admit here.
Thanks, mate.
Because I just remember I was also acting in it. And I don't know what went into me. I was in costume and I was like 40, 50 meters away from him and the actress, and he was directing her, and I was just walking around like like an NPC. I don't know. Like, I'm directing a movie here.
Yeah, I think we can see that behind the scenes. Actually, I think the short film was just 3 minutes. I think we can watch it together.
I think the short film is shorter than the making of.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's how. Like, no, with long films, that's not how it is. With hot shots,
I mean, the commentary
Would
is
you
the
like to
making
tell
of.
me
It can be
one of the
longer.
stories you found deep
Yeah,
in
and
the
this
ruins?
short film also had a interesting
One that
story.
means
We wanted
something to
to
you.
apply or submit for road reel, and I cannot make small stuff. I have to make
Was it
them
coincidence?
somehow cool, somehow
Oh,
spacey.
God,
Yeah, always big, over budget.
that children
Yeah,
emerge
and
to walk this
I made a
world.
storyboard without a script. I just draw pictures and puzzled them to a story, and then made the in-betweens. Therefore, it's not really understandable. You watch it and you're like, oh, beautiful images, but I have no idea what it's about.
But you also cut out a lot, right? Because you
Yeah.
wanted to make it feel more condensed.
Yeah,
I guess so.
I mean, the original idea was maybe like 10 minutes
unseen
long,
ability
but
to
the
look
road
into
reel
the
has to be
hearts of
3
others.
minutes. So I thought, okay, the
As if
idea
they were
kind of
their
works
own.
also for 3 minutes. Like,
And out
okay,
of a
you
finite
see
moment,
the story of these people
create
coming
a
to this
song
planet,
for eternity.
which is the Earth,
to make
much
them connect.
far in the future, like when we fucked
And
up
find
and
love.
nature comes back and we come back. That
To
was
make
kind
the
of
gods
the
believe
idea behind it. It's not explained in
That
the
even the
short.
trees have
but,
stopped swaying with the wind.
Yeah, I thought, okay, they have like
To
a
make
little
them
love
forget
story, but they cannot meet, which is also not really
that
conveyed
no matter how
in this
pure
thing.
or wanton can be,
I cut out one
they live close
important
to the
image,
shadows.
which I don't know. We didn't
They
shoot
are
it that
finite.
way, so it was just we shot it like in 5 days, and it has a lot of different places, a lot of different locations, and we drove very far, like Schönewer Heide, it was like 1 hour from here, 1.5, and then another place like, I don't know, 5 hours from here. So the entire film was like in 3 minutes.
On the coast of Germany, right?
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna see in a moment here.
Every possible help.
Yeah,
Yeah, here, this is the other place. It's far, far away from where we live. But my back then girlfriend looked, okay, when will be the tide will be gone, and we can shoot there. I had to paint out a lot of people out of the frame. They were just walking around and watching us like some funny old people.
Wait, they were the funny old people, or we were the funny old people?
They were the funny old people. There were a lot of old people there.
Yeah, they love the sea.
And they thought we were looking for something, like, because I had this diving suit on.
Oh yeah.
And I was constantly jumping into the water, and I was like just laying there because it was so nice, so cool. And I one thing, because some people watch this and they're like, oh, they made out of diving suits like spacesuits. Never do that. Never. Because it was like 30 degrees outside and we had these things on. It's like being in a very, very hot bath, but you cannot go out.
Yeah, it's like a hot tub, right?
Yeah, and you drink a lot of water, but you cannot go pee because you're like trapped in this thing. You're going out of it takes like 5 minutes. So it was really dangerous, and we were far out. Like Schönewer Heide, it was like this desert-like place. It was dangerous. And we finished the whole film from idea to finished film like in 40 days, I think. And then I made a redux of the visual effects and also did a little bit of reshoot. The movie was then like double the length, like 6.5 minutes or 7 minutes or something. But then I realized after finishing every visual effect, like for 3 months, I realized the short version works much better. Even if you don't understand anything, it just works like art. Like, I don't know. Then
It's just poetic.
Yeah, then I went back to the short version, but took a little bit of the new stuff into it. And yeah, it was just like all the visual effects were polished. Because the first version had just 1 week of visual effects time. And this scene was completely added later, this battle scene, because there was just 2 shots of me firing a gun and then black frame, and then she was laying there and nobody understood why she's laying there. Because we had no permission to shoot there, and I thought, okay, we cannot run around with guns there. It had to be done with visual effects, and that was also an interesting thing with Unreal Engine. Back then I remember thinking, okay, I want this scene, but I want it to be completely visual effect, completely full CG, because I want it to be very agile, like they run around on these ruins and jump around like, I don't know, Prince of Persia. And I didn't know if Unreal Engine was capable of delivering images which would look good enough to put them in. And I took a week off. I decided to do it. I took a week off from work and started on the weekend, like on Friday night. I started working on it. I made digital doubles of us.
Oh, here, wait, the like this tiny little virtual production thing we set up here is also very interesting.
That's also amazing how well that worked. And yeah, then the full CG scene, I had completed it in the weekend, so I had a whole week off. I thought it would take a whole week, but it was much faster done and it looked perfect. Nobody sees that it is full CG. It just blends in perfectly from the colors, from the from everything. Of course, when you know it and you hit pause, you see, okay, it's full CG, it's not real. But when you don't know, when you just watch the film, you just think, what the fuck is happening? How are they able to do this? And I had it on one festival. I think this happened actually a few times, but one time I just remember I was sitting there, they played it, and then they called me on stage, and they just asked, but this was low budget, right?
Right?
It was no budget. It was just like a few guys trying to make a short film as good as possible. Yeah. And I mean, there's so much more to say about this film. It was just an amazing experience. I mean, working with you, I just remember you come into my room shortly before we were shooting, and I said to you, I want you to do the camera, and then you come into my room and you're like, you sure you want me to do the camera? I mean, I don't know if I'm able to do this project. I'm like, dude, chill. and I think you just killed it. I mean, it's so much better than I imagined it.
Oh, thanks, man.
Just great, yeah.
I think, I mean, honestly, like you trusting me with like your short film and like giving me, yeah, like the space to do my creativity, right, by doing the camera, also gave me a lot of confidence to then like keep on doing camera things in the future, right? So
I didn't know that.
I think it always gives people confidence
Yeah.
when other people give them trust, right?
Yeah. And I just let you do it. I mean, there was I think 2 shots where I was not really able to say what I wanted. At some point, it took like 3 days. We were shooting one shot. Like every day we tried to make that shot again. And then, I don't know, a week later, as we were shooting on this far place, I had like one thought before we went there while I was laying in the bed. And then I told you, I want it to look like they are moving. They could move endlessly, but they are not making any progress. So it has to be far away, because you were always coming close with a wide fisheye lens, and you just wanted them to move past the camera. But I didn't want that. I wanted this anime like far away, and they're just walking, and you could like loop it forever, like the first image here.
You're talking about this shot here, right?
Yeah. And this was the widest lens, the longest lens we had.
Oh, wow.
It was the 50 millimeter, I think, and we would need like at least 200, I think, for that shot to work.
I mean, I feel like it comes across a little bit like
Yeah.
the idea of, wow, okay, he really doesn't get any closer.
Yeah.
To enable them to hold.
Yeah, I want to like keep going to the next questions, but
Yes.
I think we need to kind of like get to the point where you are right now, right? Like you're
Yeah.
working in the video game company called
Yeah.
Candy Valley, right?
Yeah.
And you're doing cutscene directing. That's your main job there, right?
Yes. I also design them, like I write them, I storyboard them, I make the production pipeline, and then I execute them as director with actors. I cast them, but I don't have final say in anything. There's always someone like another expert. Like when you do the story, you also have the game designers who also make the story, and you always have to talk to them so everything fits, even if it is just like an intern for, I don't know, 2 weeks or so. You still have to talk to this person, because they are creating something and it has to fit with everything. And I learned as a cutscene creator director, you cannot say no to the game designers, because you're making so much, you break so much for them. You just have to take it, and you have to make the story somehow around it so it works. But yeah, I'm basically a cutscene director right now, but it is more like an all-rounder job. I don't have a team for the most time. It's just having a team when it gets tight from the schedule. Then I need someone like Calvin who does with me the motion capture stuff, a little bit of technical directing, so I can take care of other stuff. But yeah, that was also like, as I told before, as I started to do every job I got. In a way, it became my baby. I got from Chris the job to do a trailer for them with the Unreal Engine and stuff like that, and I had no idea about Unreal Engine. I opened it like 2 times in my life and then close it again. But then I had to make this thing, and my computer was too weak to record the game. I came to you, and we did it together on your computer because yours was much stronger than mine. And I mean, my computer was very, very old. It was really like before these big steps in the tech happened, I got my PC. It was a mid-class PC, and then everybody was like light years ahead of me, and I was like,
when like the RTX revolution happens.
yeah. And I had my very, very old. I mean, the graphics card in my computer was your old graphics card.
Oh,
You remember?
that wasn't the 980 then, right?
Yeah. And before that, I don't know. It was much weaker. But yeah, then it was Unreal Engine. I made one trailer, I think. It was not rendered much out of Unreal Engine. I think nothing. It was just the game. And then they came back because I did it so well, in their opinion. It was also a funny thing. I don't know if it is still online. But we cannot show it here. It is a little bit of explicit. But then they came back and they paid double the amount, and they wanted me to do an update trailer. And then I went into Unreal Engine. So I opened it and I really did some Unreal Engine stuff. And they came back again and they wanted me to do a trailer teaser for the other game they're making. And then they came back again. So this is what can happen. This is why I'm mentioning it. When you really take the project and say, okay, I will find fulfillment in doing this. I don't like it as it is now. I don't. I would have 1,000 other ideas to do with my time, but this is the job I got, and I will make it my baby. And then the people come back, and then they trust you more and more. And right now, they always. I mean, of course, like I said, there's always like not my final say. Someone else is in, but 90% I'm creating it. It's like I have the initial idea, I give the direction, I take the ideas of the others and I implement them. I have to be a fan of what I do, otherwise it will not be good. And
yeah, but I think it's cool that you found a way to find passion for whatever you're working on, because like you said, that must be like a real shift in motivation and in energy, right?
Yeah, and you have to also think. I was a little bit of lucky because I started Unreal Engine mid-end 2018, and this was really the time where RTX started, and all the revolutions Unreal Engine made. Suddenly they had metahumans, they had mega scans for free, they had giving away this asset packs for a long time.
Basically the Fortnite success wave.
Yeah, I was like exactly at the point where they were just giving away stuff, and it clicks so well with my work style. Like I have always these big ideas with visual effects. I was already doing visual effects for 10 years before I started with Unreal Engine. So I was just blending it. First idea was to make films with the Unreal Engine together. Now with my job as a cutscene director, which was also a very heavy challenge. I mean, the wildlife teaser we watched, this was my first full CG animation with so much detailed stuff. I mean, I had not done anything like that. I had done one animated thing for a book, but it was like just taking animations from Mixamo and just plugging them together and putting camera on it. But on the wildlife thing, I had to figure out how do we. I mean, we were motion capturing for the cutscene stuff before. We had also cutscenes done with Calvin together, but I had Calvin on my side, and I had the whole animation crew on my side. So I was not really knowing what I was doing, and with the wildlife teaser, I had to know it because I learned from the first thing. I have not that much of resources, and people are just jumping back to what they do before and after, and I'm left with what I have, and I have no idea how to fix it. And the idea with the wildlife teaser was it has to look like very expensive and a legit cinematic teaser,
like a real game.
yeah, and I had to figure it out, and I didn't know if I was able to do that. It was a dream of mine, and then we did it, and I just realized, okay, I want to do real movies, but I also want to do animated stuff, and I'm now like having projects in both directions. Most of the time, also like mixed. I'm helping with other projects. Right now, I'm working on a feature film, which they shot on with blue screen, and I'm just dropping in the backgrounds in Unreal Engine, and I'm using my cinematic creation knowledge in Unreal Engine to make this very modular and very, very fast and alone. I mean, it's just amazing what is possible. And
yeah. I mean, I really want to talk with you about like doing some like workshops for your process of Unreal Engine, right? Like how to create those kind of like cinematics.
I would love to.
That would be really cool. Wrench wrote here that he got inspired. Very happy that we could inspire you, but you are lost. But I am lost. Do you want to go into detail? Like maybe we can give you some tips or can talk about it, like how to get you up to speed, get your creative juices flowing. Ali, I want to like. I remembered there's one more thing I think we need to show people before we are kind of like we understand where you currently are, and that is your Soulless concept teaser. It's for a movie, like a movie pitch you created that you want to pitch to studios to like make a real movie, right?
Yeah, it's a screenplay I worked on for I think 2.5 years on and off. It was not entirely. I have still my job, and I mean, 8 months of it was creating this teaser. I wanted to test Unreal Engine, how real can Unreal Engine look in terms of very sharp images, because mostly when you do Unreal Engine, it's very muddy, and I'm a big fan of Ridley Scott. And Ridley Scott's stuff is very, very sharp, very, very crisp. And I wanted to make it so crisp because I thought, okay, when Ridley Scott somehow stumbles upon this thing, I don't want to be
no shame.
Yeah, I don't want to embarrass myself. And then this is a feature film project. Like every filmmaker, I try to make my feature film debut. And I don't want to make it easy. I need something I'm really technically inspired to do, because I love story, but I also love technical stuff. Then at some point I said, okay, let's do a teaser. And the funny thing was, we shot only half a day and just 2 shots. It was funny. We were creating these costumes, fitting the actors like they were coming in, and I was fitting them and whatever. And then we shot, and they were like, "What? We are done?" We did 11 takes, exactly 11 takes for every actor. And Sasha is just like in it for like 30 frames or something. Alina is a little bit longer because she's in the end, but. It was just 2 shots for each of them, and it's just strange that you put your actors into costume for each of them 1 shot. And the rest was completely CGI. We did 3D scans of the actors, made meta-humans of them, and I shot a lot of motion capture in our living room here with Rococo and my laptop. And then cleaned it, because it is not that much. It is just very, very short animations. And when you have short animations, you can clean them up very easily, even if it is Rococo. And it was Rococo 1. So 2 is much better. But yeah, this is my project I'm working on. I'm working also on another project which I will finish before I will continue with Solus. But Solus is like the thing I really wanna make big, at least with a budget of I think 3 million. And for today, there's nobody investing in that project except the distributors. They really want to make it, but they cannot completely finance it. So I'm still looking for financing ways. And the reason why I pushed another project or pulled another project before is because the German film funding is changing the next year, and it's just too little of time to try in that little time with this thing. And one step already failed. They didn't want it to make it. It's like German Film Federation.
They just, yeah. I mean, everybody agrees that the German film funding is really bad.
Yeah,
and,
I don't want to
at least-
insult them here in your screen, but I really have bad words for them.
I mean, yeah. Eric also says like German film funding XD with like 70s.
Yeah, I mean, I had phone calls twice with them because I wanted to submit this project last year in August as the teaser was finished. I sent it out to them, and they called me, and they were like, the first thing the guy said to me was he didn't watch anything, he didn't look at anything, he is totally unprepared. And then he opened the presentation while we were talking, and then he said something like, oh, this looks good, it can't be good. Like something like this. So he was very impressed by the images in the presentation. And without reading anything, he already had an opinion about the quality of the story. And then he read the log line and he was like, okay, this sounds interesting. And I'm like, dude, why are you wasting your and my time by not preparing? I mean, I don't need them to look at it 10 times or whatever. Just look at it and take it seriously. And that's the problem. I didn't feel like being taken seriously. And the second one was like a few months ago. I just needed a little bit of time to sort stuff. I was rewriting the script. I was on the European film market and stuff like that. So it was a lot of back and forth before I could resubmit it. And then there was another guy. He called me. And he completely misunderstood the project. He thought this was all AI generated. And I'm like, my God.
It doesn't say that anywhere, right? Like,
Yeah, not a single image in this thing is AI generated. The thing is, it is about an AI, and I think they thought, okay, this looks like nothing we do in Germany.
It just feels like they are assuming so much. Like they have so many like pre-assumptions about everything. It just makes it really annoying to work with people like that.
But the thing was, I was on the European film market, and I was talking with the distributor, a world sales agent. He's not a distributor; he's a sales agent, and he's a German. But he also doesn't like German films. We started to rant about German films. I mean, 2 minutes in our talk was like 30 minutes then ranting about the German film industry. And he said to me, they will not fund this project. Not because it is not good, but because it is not what they think they should make. And it sounds silly, but the German film industry really thinks they do better movies than the rest of the world. When you have a screenplay, let's say it is written by an Oscar-winning person who also was financially very, very successful, submits it to some German producers, what they will do with it is, yes, nice, but we will do it our way. Because their Hollywood way, this is just all very surface level popcorn.
So much more cultured and intelligent over here.
Yeah, it is. They are so afraid. I mean, it's like backfiring. They're so afraid to look stupid that they look stupider than anyone else.
They make boring movies at the end. So.
Yeah.
That's Ali. I know this is a topic that you could talk about forever.
One thing I want to mention. It's just a quote. I don't know where it comes from, but my teacher back in the school, acting school, said, Germany makes movies like Ware. What is Ware?
Goods.
Like goods. And sells it as art. And America makes art and sells it as goods.
That's interesting, yeah.
And the Germans fall for it. They think this thing, because it is marketed that big and blah, it can't have this much of substance to it. I mean, a Rambo 1, Rocky 1, they have so much substance. They're almost art films, like the true art film. They're so good with the character and stuff like that. And here in Germany, when you talk to anyone in the German industry and say, I want to make a movie like Rocky, like the first Rocky, they think you want to make a masculine, whatever movie about stupid guys punching each other. They're just far away from reality here, unfortunately.
So, all right, let's watch this Soulless concept teaser you made.
Yes.
All right. So just to recap, this is for a script that you're pitching to production companies right now, and the goal is to make it a real movie.
Yeah.
So all right, and you did all of this yourself.
Almost.
For like half a year. How long did it take you?
I think 8 months, or I don't know. I mean, we shot it in February.
All right, we can go into detail after this. Let's watch it.
It's very dark. And it's all Unreal Engine.
Unreal 5 this time, right?
Yeah, Path Tracer. Looks good on this. It's not over. So she's now digital, and now she's real. So that's the idea, like blending CG
and maybe really just to like, if in case people missed, like the other real actor is here.
Yeah.
So these are the only two live action fights, right? Why did you write come on instead of having him say it? Oh, does he say it?
He says it, yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear it.
But he says it in German. Komm schon.
Ah, okay.
He says komm schon. But it was not in the script or something, he just did it.
he just went for it.
Yeah.
Creativity strikes him.
It's interesting. Sasha is always so insecure, but he is like a I don't know how big he is, but he is big,
Yeah.
and he looks like a Viking, and he is also very, very strong. And he comes in. Oh, I didn't want it to disturb. it's really
He's so cute, honestly.
Yeah.
He's super cute.
And then he plays always these bad guys, and he's always this insecure and always asking if he can and if he can't or whatever. And he's asking really like these little questions where you think, dude, just do it.
Go for it. Have the confidence. You can do it.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you want to say anything about this still?
Yeah. This was mostly a technical test for me because I wanted to know how can we make this film? How can we make future films? Like, okay, we have Unreal Engine. It can be operated by very few people. I mean, it was done almost entirely in Unreal Engine by me in 8 or so months, while I was also working full time in my cinematics job, preparing and doing other motion capture stuff and stuff like that. So it was very intense. I had to be concentrated fully there, and I was still making this thing in my free time. I mean, I wasn't doing anything else. I was just working on this thing, and on my other work for a year or so straight. Not on this, but entirely. Like, okay, and what I asked myself was, okay, how much money do we need? And what will be the logistics of this? Will we shoot this in a green screen studio and do a lot of blending with CG characters and real characters? Or does it make more sense differently? And I realized it makes more sense in another way, more like, okay, try to find locations for the most part, try to shoot it as much real as possible, not because I'm a fan of full real or whatever. I love both. I love CG. I love to work with CG, but the problem here really was, and I have to mention this because you should know the trap I went into. The path tracer in Unreal Engine is very, very slow and very hard to control. The Lumen renderer came meanwhile close to the path tracer, so they look kind of similar when you have your shot in Lumen ready and switch over to path tracer. It will kind of look the same, which is helpful because back then as I was doing this a year ago, it was completely different, and that was really hard because I had to render the stuff to see how it looks, and it always took like, I don't know, 10 minutes or so before I had, I don't know, a second or so of footage which I could look at. And meanwhile, I'm working entirely with Lumen, no more with Path Tracer. Back then, I tried to make it look as real as possible, the reflections, the metals and stuff like that. But it was really, really hard. I mean, okay, it depends really on your processing power, but I did a little bit of math with the rendering times I had. I had some shots which rendered like 90 hours, and the median was like, I don't know, 12 hours or so. And every shot I had to render like 3 times because some shadow was in the frame, or when the camera was moving over the ground and there are this shards of glass, there was one reflection so bright it was like for 2 seconds like lens flare, and I'm like, why the longest fucking shot is broken. So I would not recommend to make a bigger project with a path tracer when it has to look very, very real. I mean, for car commercials it's good because cars look amazing with path tracer. But also they look amazing with Lumen. Meanwhile, Lumen became so good, it's insane. I mean, the feature film scene with the backgrounds, it's which I'm working on right now, is completely Lumen, and it looks real.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, real-time renders are really getting so good. Like even Blender Eevee, like in the new version, right? Like I've been rendering some of the recent stuff I've been doing just in there because it already looks really good. Like it just becomes so nice.
Yeah, I think Blender is so nice when it comes to its renderer. I mean, I don't work with it, but I see other people work with it, and I see how good the results are. And when I see the progress, how they get there, and I'm like, yeah, okay, it makes sense. I mean, it's so modular. It's like very, very fast, and it's just perfect for developing a look. And I wish Unreal Engine was also like that. I mean, it can be like that, but you have to organize yourself. It is not like Blender. Blender is already organized in many ways to push you towards a good looking thing, a good workflow.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I like. Like what scares me away from Unreal a little bit still is that you just have to do so much maintaining and setting up. Like Blender's really just like focused on getting you as quickly as possible to the nice image, right?
Yeah.
But Unreal just isn't made for rendering nice images from the ground up, right?
Yeah.
You have to like do all these steps, and most of the time, every time you do a new project, you have to set them up again, right?
Kinda. I have some projects which are like kinda the similar thing. So I have one big project with a lot of assets in it, and then I have multiple folders for the projects. But it makes a lot of sense for whatever project you are working on to make an extra project, because when you work for somebody, you have to deliver the project file. So when they want to work with someone else in the future, they have the project file, and they have not all your other stuff in it. Also for experimenting, I have 2 or 3 projects which are very big with a lot of assets in it, with a lot of functions in it. And I do a lot of testing actually when it comes to Unreal Engine, because it is so open with programming and stuff like that. A lot of ideas and whatever. Right now I'm working on a motion capture cleanup system for stuff like OpenPose or Move AI. So you still have a very good view on what you do, and you can or what you did, what the actors did with the cameras in it, with the footage in it, so you can clean up easily. That's the goal. Hopefully we will make this happen. But next question.
Yeah, let's keep on going.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess we now fully understand where you currently are, right?
Yeah.
So my next question then would be, where do you want to be in a year?
That's a good question, because I have very strict plans. As I saw the German film funding structure will change, and I have not much time to try with Solus in the current version of it. I was in the European film market. I realized something. It is I wasn't alone there. I knew a lot of other filmmakers who already almost or had finished their low budget movie, and they were there to sell it. And I was there with my teaser, which really, like, everybody who saw it loved it. They had no time for me because I had no
appointments.
Yeah, I wrote a lot of emails, but I was far too late. You have to write emails like 8 weeks before, so they can schedule with you a meeting. But after 2 weeks, like when you are 6 weeks, they already are full. They don't read emails anymore. And I was writing like a week before the event, so nobody responded. And I just went there with my laptop. I just opened it, playing it, and while it plays, I'm talking already. And when they saw the images, they were like, "Okay, come,
you can come in."
Yeah, what is this? Who did this? How much did it cost? And then I could pitch it to him, and I got a good. I was like, I had, I think 14 interests, and a German producer friend told me, when you have one interest, then you are really, really good. And I had 14. So
Yeah, that's actually pretty crazy if that's
Yeah.
the norm, yeah.
yeah. But the problem was, how do you want to make this film? I mean, I still need budget, and there are a few things I'm not good at. I'm not good at writing emails. I'm not good at being patient with people when they talk a lot and don't make anything. And that's unfortunately, when you want to make a movie like this in Germany, the best thing you can have is they want to meet you to tell you how amazing your trailer is, but they cannot or don't want to make it. They want to maybe work with you on other things, but they don't want to make this thing. And but I thought, okay, interesting thing was when I started to talk to people there before I showed them anything or something, I just tried to talk to them. I remember one woman stopped me while I was talking, like, "Is it finished?" She asked me, and I'm like, "No." And then she said, "Okay, then she has no interest in it, but when it is short, she can still take a look on it and give me maybe their card and something." And I went back home knowing that my friends sold their films, their low-budget films. One was 50K, made for 50K, and the other one was for 350K, which sounds a lot, but in movie making, it's low budget, very low budget. In America, it's extreme low budget. In America, a 5 million movie is a low budget movie. So, and they already call a 50 million movie a low budget movie. Yeah. Really? When it is not 100 million, I mean, okay, they take every movie which has more than 5 million seriously, but everything between 5 and 50 million, many studios don't want your project because it is too cheap.
Well,
yeah. And I went back home and I thought, okay, I had the strategy to write something as best as I can, make presentation as best as I can, go there and or go to the entire industry and make my way. My inspiration was James Cameron, as he wrote Terminator. The idea was the same. I just copied his idea. It was not mine. I just read his book. I mean, okay, I already had this set in my mind. I have to make a movie. I'm getting older. I have to make a movie. And then I got his book, Tech Noir, and there's a lot about the backstory. As I got the book, we were sitting here on your carpet and watching these images, which was amazing. Yeah. And he was explaining how he wrote it, and he tried to make it as good as possible so it would sell, and then he could he would have leverage over it to direct it. And it worked fine for him. Many people rejected him, just to mention that, but some people wanted to make it, some people believed in it, and it became one of the best movies ever made, Terminator 1. And that was my plan. My Terminator plan. It didn't work out for me. Okay, I wasn't doing the homework after the script was finished. James Cameron also did not, but he had one producer, Gail Ann Hurd, who did then the work James Cameron wasn't doing. He was already working on another script, which became then later Aliens. But yeah, this didn't work out. But I went home with the thought okay, I can also make a low budget movie and go next year to the European film market, or Cannes, or American film market, or whatever film market. There are a few, but these are the big three, and sell it. I can maybe make a movie for 20K or 50K, and I can make it look like it cost $1 million or more with my skill set. And that's what I said in my mind. And I need another story, because the story of Solus, it has a lot of fancy places, like a corporation with its managers and stuff like that, and they have a big screen. I mean, we can fake all of that, but I don't want to go so much CGI, because then it becomes a real hustle to make everything look legit, like it was really there. Especially when you make almost everything yourself. I mean, it took me 8 months to make 90 seconds of a teaser. How long will it take when I make a 2-hour movie? I mean, okay, I wouldn't make it entirely alone, but I know when we shoot it, we need money for the costumes, for the props and stuff like that. So I thought, okay, I will do an animated movie, because this is the cheapest way to make a movie for me, a movie that really looks good. I mean, I could also make a feature film. We have the equipment here, Calvin and I. We have the people, but it then cannot be fancy sci-fi. It has to be like a crime story or maybe John Wick style or something, which is not really my style of story. I need a sci-fi. And I'm now working on another script for an Unreal Engine movie, so to speak. I want to finish it till February next year. I think I will not make it.
That's already very tight.
Yeah, it's already very, very tight, and I have no time to work on it. I'm like opening the script every 2 weeks and try to write. I have like 40 pages now, but I need at least 75 to land on a 90-minute movie. But yeah.
Your goal is then for the next year to work on this and sell it at the market, like sell a finished movie.
The finished movie, or depends. I mean, many of them also told me they also are interested in stuff that is on a rough cut stage.
Okay.
So some of them only want finished movies, particularly when they don't know you already. When they know you, when they already worked with you, then it's no problem to only come with an idea and they already give money to it. But I thought, okay, I can make this thing as far as I can get it. So I have maybe a rough cut until February, and I can send it to them and they can watch it, and they can maybe then pre-buy it. It's a pre-sell, which can be made in any stage, but the best stage is when actors are on board, famous actors, which I will not do because I have no time for kissing ass. I don't like that.
No ass kissing in this household.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't like to run after people. That's why I learned all this stuff. It's like, okay, I ask someone if they have some issues, whatever, I do it myself. I learn it, I do it. But when it comes to actors, okay, I cannot act everything myself, like I did in many projects. But I in this project, I want actors, maybe a little bit of fame, but not super famous. And yeah, when I have it like on a certain point, hopefully pre-sell it for in some areas to have budget to polish it to a very, very good point. And then the thing is, you pre-sell it, but you also have like percents on the revenue it makes. So you get the money from the sell, and then the money from the revenue the movie makes over time. And of course, I would love to have it in cinema, but this is the decision of the distributors, how they see it, where they see it. I think it will work much better for them on streaming. From the quality, what I will try to achieve, it will hopefully look like a little bit like Love, Death and Robots, maybe kinda not that much, but I believe that I can achieve a quality which will make a good pre-sale or selling, and I believe I can make a lot plus by making this thing, and that's what I want to make.
I think Eric has a good question here for you. Like he wrote, but it is but it's super stupid if they give money for a finished film. I mean, it will will pay off the possible credit, but it's already done. If it turns out good, the movie will pay itself. And then like the question, you need the money for the production and not afterwards. Isn't that stupid?
Not really. I mean, movie financing is very complex. It's like a warfare, and you have to really come from every side possible. So it is not given that they give money only when the movie is finished. This applies only for people who are nobodies, who are no names, who come to them. They don't know this person. They want to give money, but they cannot give everybody money. They have to know you're a professional. You did it before, and I didn't. I did not do it before. If I had a producer on my side who made 3-4 movies, it would be much easier to get a pre-sale. And I already got that. So I already got an offer of 150,000, and they also wanted to come in as producers, so which means they wanted to give extra money. I don't know how much. We never talked about it, but the takeaway is it really depends on how much they trust you, that you can pull this off with the money, and also that you can get the rest of the money. They don't finance the entire film, but normally, and there are different numbers out there, which I don't know what is true, but normally the pre-sale, the distribution part, which is composed of 2 different layers, like the distributors, which are like in connection with the markets and the cinemas to get the movie there, and so it shows and they make money, all of them, and then the sales agent who gets to the distributors worldwide. So the best thing you can have is a sales agent. You can also do that job yourself, but you then need to go a lot around and talk to people, but then you can make more money. I mean, double the money, because I think half of the money goes to the sales agent, and then it also everybody gets its share. So you end up with when you have good deals, maybe with 20% of the revenue, and you have to be happy with that. I mean, I can realize I can already imagine people are like, okay, well, it's my movie, I made it with my blood and sweat. Why do I only get 20% of the revenue? And these people who didn't make the money get so much. The thing is, they also put a lot of investment into this film to be sold, to be watched in cinema.
A lot of connections too, like it's also like years and years of working in the industry, like to be in that point where you can actually pull this job off.
Exactly.
I think still like if you ask me personally, I think 20% does sound good, because like there's so many people involved in making a movie. The director, of course, is maybe the most important part.
Yeah.
But like it's just like, I don't know, you're one of 200 or more people, right? So,
yeah. And I mean, when you are a studio, your revenue is like 1/4, like I believe. Yeah, it should be 1/4. It's like, and that's good. That's like 25%. But when you are an indie, when you get to 20%, it's really, really good. And you have to always think the distributor. There's not just one. There are like 100 or 140 when you were good. And these distributors are working with a lot of markets, so their actual share of this singular people or companies is very, very tiny. It's like 0. Whatever percent, but together combined they also have like 20, 40 or whatever percent. So the reason why you get just 20 or so percent is because there are many, 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 many people who have to earn from this money to be distributed.
Yeah.
You can make more money when you go to streaming directly, because then it's like on Netflix or whatever. And okay, they pay then a lot of money, I don't know, or a little money. And then there's not this big machinery. Okay, Netflix has to pay their own people, but they know what they're doing and they earn good money.
Let's move on to the next question.
Yeah.
I would like to talk with you a little bit about like your view on the creative industry in total, right? So
You mean currently, like in the last 2 years?
yeah, the current state. Yeah. Like where do you see the what is the industry doing?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of disruption right now. We had like COVID, and COVID, for one part, it slowed down and made productions partially impossible, partially very, very expensive. And the movie industry itself crumbled under that already. And a lot of people lost their jobs and went into other related industries. So the related industries were overloaded with workforce. So they also lost their revenues. Mostly, which happened to you guys with Maury. And there was less demand as COVID was lifted. People went out. People were living under the sun again. So they didn't watch that much. They canceled their Netflix, whatever, and didn't go that much into cinema. And they were like now in another stage. And so you had this very, very big bubble for the streamers, which became bigger during COVID, and they overproduced with a lot of money. They tried to make the prestige projects 100 million, 200 million projects, and then nobody watched it. So it was like all burned. Not nobody, but by far not that many people. And then they fired more people. And these fired people went into the other industries again. And more people lost their revenue. And I think we are now at a point, at the lowest point possible, where it becomes better again. But still a lot of companies crumble. Axis just collapsed. The CG animation studio in Scotland. Amazing that they I don't know for how long they did so great work, and then suddenly they're gone. And before that, Goodbye Kansas was also downed. Let's put it like that. They had investors to hold it like alive, but I don't know how much they were operating. And now, also the job I'm doing now, the visual effects job for the company, the producer said to me, "Look, we don't have much money because the company the visual effects company we were working with collapsed to what is insolvency." Bankruptcy, yeah. But they filed for bankruptcy, so they sucked up a lot of money with them without finishing the job. And now they are looking for ways to somehow to finish this film. And it is just so crazy. You can see them like dying like flies. I witnessed your company's your company was very healthy, very popular and funky. And you still exist, but you had to make it much differently, like no more in the studio and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you found a good way to hold it alive, but it's still sad because you were like a family there, and this was one of the first things I saw. But I talked to Flo. Look, this is not your fault. This is not only specific to Maury. This is a global phenomenon. And I can tell this because my email address is in this EFM mail lists. When people need jobs, they email also me. And I mostly have no use for them because they are big companies looking for big gigs, and I don't have that. And you can just see that they desperately try to get the jobs because there's not many left. Not that much of productions are in line now, and there are too much people like fallen, and we also had this strike which was going on for I don't know how many months. They also, I mean, the people who striked were not the visual effects people and stuff like that, but when the actors are not shooting, when the directors are not shooting, the visual effects people, the editors and so on, they have no job. And then they look for something else because they have their family to feed. And many of them live in countries where you are not as safe as in Germany. Like in Germany, you have this federation stuff, like you can save yourself, like, okay, I have to go there and get some money monthly so I can feed my children. Some countries don't have that.
Yeah, you get like a percentage of your usual income, right? If you don't have work.
Yeah. When you were working in a company, you get like 60% of what you earned there, plus your health insurance is covered, and when you need more money for your living place, you also get that. So it's not that much, but you can survive with it, and you can like stay where you are from your profession or your places and try to find a connection back again. Like you don't have that many jobs, but sometimes, and then it becomes gradually better, and then you can work in this industry again. But many people don't have that. Like I said, they have to look for other options, and then they flood the gaming industry, let's say, the commercial industry and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I thought, like, to me also, like, it felt right now the visual effects and post-production industry is really not in the best shape. So I thought that also why it feels to me like making the school made a lot of sense for me, because there's still a lot of development in tools and in possibilities in actually making movies, but it's just like the money isn't there right now. But so I think it's a good time to learn right now, right? To like stay updated and like experiment and like do your own things. But we just gotta hold it out a little bit and wait for the industry to like either like create a new branch where like people can apply their knowledge on, or just recover and like
The recovery is coming, but it is coming slowly. And there's another reason. There are people like you and me who are broadly skilled. When there's a job for you, you can make it like entirely yourself. And I also. And this is, I don't know why we learned it that way, but we have like our tools. You have Blender, I have Unreal Engine and Cinema. Mostly I use only Unreal Engine. And the thing is, when you are a company, like let's say you are an advertisement company, you do this gigs for a brand, not a film based, a video based thing, but you have your video department. You do this advertisement posters and strategies, and I don't know what the name was, but marketing company. A marketing management company. And they mostly have their or had, most of them are closing it, their video department with 5 or whatever, how the size of the company is. And they realized, okay, we have like a lot of new demands because everybody is able to do better stuff with less money because the tools are evolving, like AI is coming in. Unreal Engine is easier to use for everybody. And from time to time, there are projects which are done with this stuff. And They look amazing. They are not that expensive. And now these companies get offers from people who want the same thing and want to pay around the same money because they also have someone who wants to make it and who can make it. So they go to their video department and they say, okay, let's do this. And the video department, composed of people who are working there for 10 or 20 years, so they are in their mid-40s, they try to learn it, and they barely learn it, even if you are, 16 or so and very fresh in your brain. It's really hard to learn it like on the go without any mentors to make a project legit. So you end up with charging a little more than you would you would be as a freelancer, because you don't have the studio, you don't have all the managers and whatever to pay, the rent and whatever to pay. Only your flat or your small one person studio or whatever. So the problem becomes, you realize the people in your company are not able to deliver on the demands, on the fast changing demands of the market, like what the people want. So you close your video department, and what happens is all the jobs go to freelancers or extra companies which are specialized on the one thing or the other. But what is happening is many filmmakers, particularly CGI centered filmmakers, or maybe completely CGI filmmakers, visual effects people, developing workflows like in the past 2 or so years, like on a rapid explosion. Like you can do stuff you were not able to do a few years ago with just this less of resources. You can do motion capture, perfect motion capture at home. Yeah, and you don't need anyone for it. You just need yourself. And I'm a little bit of extreme there, doing a lot of things alone. You too, but I think I'm a little bit more extreme in that. And I can tell you, there is much disruption from that side too. I am guilty, but I don't try to take anyone's job, and I mostly take the job and give it to someone else, because I have my job already and I have my projects already. But if I would say, okay, I go now full freelance and I do all this stuff for all these people, I can charge, like, even if I charge half the money which a company charges, I still make a fortune. And
Yeah.
and I think I have no answer for where the industry is heading. I think with everything, we will find a place where we will find like a working equilibrium, but it is far from that, because every day there's another AI tool, or there's another cool, not AI, but some tool which is just very, very smartly solving your problems. Now they are working on motion animation, like a prompt to animation, and you have you write your whole screenplay into or put it into the program, and it animates the entire freaking thing. And then you can go into the scene and just select a portion and say the digital actor what they should do. It's not perfect. But it's a start, and we saw it with AI projects already, how fast image generators evolved, like from this very funky looking, weird, nightmarish LSD stuff to actual images, which you can no more tell the difference if this was done by AI or or an artist.
Yeah, and video is also almost there now. Like I keep seeing like videos on Instagram now that are like where you like don't know immediately that it's AI, right? Like there's most of the time there's something weird happening that gives it away. But like the quality and the movements are like so good now that it's really hard to tell.
Yeah, and I had an interesting thing. I saw a video, I think on Twitter or something. We are not allowed to say Twitter, on X. It was like titled AI is getting completely out of control, and there's a guy who is like sawing something, and it's like making a lot of fire, like shh, and then he transforms into a goose or something, and then into a woman or whatever, and then he transforms into a rocket and flies up, and I was like, if someone would come to you and would say, I want something like this, but done with visual effects, not with AI, it would be so freaking expensive, because it is so hard to make this shape-shifting stuff, and everything looks perfect. Like every light, when there's this rocket, you can see how the light bounces from everything, and it looks just like a video.
Yeah, it's insane. You really can't. I mean, that would be a challenge to replicate AI video with CG animation, but it's like, I feel like you almost can't, because it's like, how would you even approach that? Because everything is keep changing. I don't know, it would be a challenge.
I also don't know, but you can also make a use of it, this shape-shifting stuff. In my other film I want to make now, there are shapeshifters like poltergeists or something, and they manifest. And I thought, well, I will just generate an AI. I mean, I will first make my animation with my camera and stuff, and then put it in AI and tell it what it should do, and then I will just mask the shape-shifting creature into my image. And
that could be interesting.
My environment looks like how it should look, but I have this shape-shifting creature, and I'm curious how it will look. I haven't made it already, but I believe it will be very, very scary. And what did I say? I mean, also with the image generators, you have documentaries. I think documentaries for video generation will be the first, or already are the first, who can really make a use of it. You can generate a video of dinosaurs, a video of mammoths, a video of Romans.
Well, of dinosaurs maybe, but like most of the time, I mean, if you do like a documentary that's supposed to like being like taken seriously, right? Like there's a lot of experts that go in there and like make sure that the information on the screen like displays reality, right? So like that's probably still really difficult with tools.
But you have to consider how AI works. It works with trained data, so you can train an AI on all the knowledge you have, so it can also close some gaps which are unknown.
Yes, it would make one specifically to generate a specific dinosaur with all the data you have, right? You would.
And you can see its skin as it likely was, because you fed it with lizard skin, actual footage of lizard skin, how it works, how when this type of muscle is this way placed, how it would look like, and stuff like that. I mean, right now we are just mostly dropping the footage almost without context into these generators to train it. But I think the better way would be to give it more context. Like, okay, I have this lizard, and I have this. I have here the bone structure of it, and this bone is here, this bone is here, and here's the muscle structure of it. So the AI understands more why this video looks like how it looks. So you can give the AI the bone structure of a dinosaur, and it can replicate all the rest, even the movement, because it then knows, okay, when a bone looks like this, the muscle would be like this, and the skin would look like that.
I mean, that's also like kind of the approach how you use some of the image AI image generators with 3D now, right? Like, because 3D gives you all this deep information like normals and Z depth
Yeah.
and UV maps and like motion vectors. So that way you can control what you get out of the AI much more in depth. And I guess
Yeah.
like what you are saying is just more of that, right?
Yeah, more of that. I mean, it can go both ways. It can be fed by it, and it can give it out if it is trained well. And some things are very, very easy to train, like depth data, for example. You can take any animation and also render the depth information of that 3D scene, feed it like endlessly into a depth AI, and then give it the actual footage, and it will generate you the depth image of that footage.
Yeah, the more data, the more accurate data you can feed it, high quality data, the better you get the results.
And that is something you can just produce and give it. I mean, it is much harder to produce paintings, because an artist can only paint a certain amount of images during his entire life, and every artist has a different style. So that is a much harder. I mean, okay, you can just download this data, but when you work with AI, you really have to think about how is the process actually of this kind of stuff like CGI or image generation, and how can we build pipelines with AI and also train the specific portions of it, like animation. Like you have a very shitty motion capture, but the AI was also trained with motion capture that was cleaned or whatever, so it can clean your shitty mocap very, very well. Stuff like that. And then you have a bone structure, like I said. Then you have a muscle structure, you have a skin and whatever. And then you have a final image, which you still can feed into the AI and make everything, like the skin, look more like skin, the hair look more like hair, like all of that stuff. So you don't generate like from nothing an entire thing, like with one prompt, but you go all these steps to also control it with a lot of things. And I think that will be the workflow, not because it is giving the much better results or whatever, but because it is like obvious. There are already tools like Comfy UI, which is designed for that. You can plug in multiple workflows to get like a node-based system to get a result. And it just makes sense, because you can modularly take out one portion of a function and replace it with a better version of it. Like when you do keying in CGI, in visual effects, you have multiple different keyers, and they were not all in there before. Back in the Stone Age, there was just, I don't know, color key. And then we had key light. And then we had, we had also Luma key and blah, blah, blah. And meanwhile, we have magic masking and whatever. So the better workflow is not have like, okay, nothing, and then I type something and a video comes out. That is bullshit. Because it's much better when you have all this stuff and you can choose the perfect perfect tool to do this specific step.
Yeah, being able to build your own workflows is really powerful.
Yeah, definitely.
Ali, I want to get into one of the last questions here. And before I ask you, everybody, we're gonna do a little Q&A session after that, so you can write your questions already in the chat or join the call in Discord. And while you guys do that, let's see if, like, I kind of want to know from you if you see any of avenues or like possibilities that people, like especially like new artists that are coming into the scene or learning these tools, what they could focus on or what they could experiment with or learn, you know?
Yeah. To make it very, very easy, learn Blender or Unreal Engine, because I think both of them are the future and they work together. They work together, they do a good job, and also be very relaxed when you work on it. Every person is a little bit different how they learn. You learn much more differently than I do, and you also have like everybody needs their own like way into things. But for me, it is like I learn project based. When I don't have a project, I don't open Unreal Engine. I'm not doing any tests. Maybe I have an idea, then I do a test. But I see a lot of people who just open the Unreal Engine, build something fancy, and have some ideas and learn and just make this little thing and make it really nice. I cannot do that. I really don't have any drive to do that. I only open it when I have a project, and then I have a lot of things I don't know I have to figure out, and then I figure it out. And that works also. So it's really depending on how you work. And really, I would say learn Blender or Unreal or both. And also don't shy away from stuff like Substance Painter, motion capture, whatever there is. There's just so much. And it is really like playing. Meanwhile, it's like when you build a map, like a set in Unreal Engine, it's like playing Sims, and it's so easy, it's so nice, it just looks great without having a skill.
Yeah, especially with all the assets you get in Unreal Engine for free. Like
it's all free. You can use it for commercial projects, dude. It is perfect asset for you for free. You can just take it and you can make yourself as a digital character within maybe 30 minutes when all the tools work as they're supposed to work. And if not, it takes maybe 2 hours, but it still works. You can digitalize every actor you have. You can motion capture them at home, even face capture with an iPhone and stuff like that. I mean, it gives so much freedom that it is, for me, it is much more joy to create in Unreal Engine something than to sit down and watch a film or something, or play a video game. I like to create in Unreal Engine more than, just watching stuff. But yeah, that would be my advice. And really be positive in that. Have a positive mindset. Don't be scared. Don't feel like, okay, everybody is learning it so fast and I have no idea and whatever, and everybody will take my job. That won't happen, because as soon as you had like worked with it for 1 week, believe me, you have done you have set the first stone, and from that point on, you will learn more and more and more. And everything you do will become easier. I work with Unreal Engine since 2018, and I just learned something new today, which is very, very useful, which was in the program like from the Stone Age on, and I just learned it today.
Yeah, these tools are huge. That's just always something to discover.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Cool. Let's see. We didn't get any questions now. I'm still going to give you like let's say 10 seconds to write something or join the voice channel. Yeah. Until then, it's just
we just stare.
Yeah.
Enough talk. Yeah, it's also funny that we had completely different times in mind, because I thought last week you said 19 o'clock, but I think you asked like, when do you have time between 17 and 19 o'clock?
Yeah.
And you asked me like while I was making coffee and running around, you were like, next week same time. And I said yes. I just remember that, and I didn't look at the time you posted on the image. I didn't know I actually have to work till 18:30.
So you ditched work to be able to
Yeah.
talk with us?
Yeah,
Oh,
but
nice,
I
nice,
mean,
thanks.
I wanted to work during the weekend anyway because I'm now finishing everything up and I'm so excited, so I cannot leave it.
Just not able to take a rest.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to see it. I just want to see it, and the only way to see it is finish it.
Finish it, to get done with it. We got a question from Keanu Steve here. How do you instill that desire to learn, or how do you learn to love your craft? Interesting. Yeah.
I would like to hear it from you.
Okay. It's still the desire to learn. The desire to learn. I mean, yeah, I can definitely say it's very. I've got like a very strong feeling for that, to like always like learn things and understand things. And I don't know, I think it's just a personality, right? Like a personal trait people have. And I did realize, like, I did feel in recent times though, sometimes I would accept things how they just how they are, and then I remembered kind of, wait, no, that's not how I am. I need to question things. I need to understand.
Break it apart.
Yeah. I need to understand why things are how they are, because it was like a kind of like a religion kind of like a question I was asking myself, and I was like, kind of just like, okay, I'll just accept this, and then I realized, wait a second, no, this is not how I want to live, right? I don't want to just like accept things and live how other people tell me to live, right? I want to understand and know why I am doing the things I'm doing. I think that's the only way you really have control over your life and over your thoughts, right? That's just why I love learning.
Yeah, and I think it's also very essential part of you. I remember saying to you, as I knew you for 2 years or something, and I watched a video of Boston Dynamics, and I said, this is a place where you should be. It's like they are building stuff, they are testing stuff, and it's all modular and stuff like that. You need a lot of money and a big place with a lot of gadgets, so you can just stick them together and look what it makes. Yeah, but you have also friends like that. They're building stuff. They're building lamps and other stuff. I don't know. It's really amazing.
I mean, you also are just like always doing new things. Like, it's really, I don't know, like it's interesting to be with people like that, because it feels motivating, right? Like, it feels like, oh, there's something new. And but is there like a way to kind of like get a motivation for that?
Yeah,
I mean, like, to me, I would just like to repeat that if you understand that learning helps you to take control of your life, that could be a motivation, right? Like, that could be like, okay, if I learn this, if I understand this, even if I don't understand it yet, and I know it's going to be work to understand it, but if I do, I have control over things.
Yeah, for me it's kind of similar thing. I mean, I often take things which are very, very easy, which are already done by somebody, and I try to build my own version of it. And while doing that, I learn a lot how it actually works. Like, I use that stuff for years without knowing how it actually mathematically works behind the scenes. And as soon as I understand it, I have, like, I do my job much better, because I know what will influence the quality of that system. And I also realize how I can test the system to learn more about it and have a better quality while working with it. For me, it's more like, overall, it's more like this power thing. I want to be powerful by creating a lot with ease. Having
Power, the ultimate power.
When you see me playing Minecraft, first it looks like, okay, what the fuck is he doing? He just chopped off the whole building, mountains and stuff like that. What is he doing? And a few days later, I have like this big farms and everything is automated, and I just can farm like 30 levels of experience within like a minute.
So much power,
and everything has this ultra, I don't know, spell on it, and I have like crates and crates full of diamond. It's a bit of industrialized thinking, but yeah, the reason, for example, why I'm creating a mocap system, I'm creating with stuff which is already there, but I try to make like this the singular steps also be accessible, so we can control the level of output on this different levels, and also go another way with in half the way, like, okay, for this particular thing this system works better than this way, and always have the ability to easily and quickly clean the stuff without having much of knowledge. So you can also hire people who have little animation experience to also work on this stuff. So I'm really not the person who would sit down and say, okay, I will just read this or watch this tutorial just to know it, just to understand it. I really need a reason. I really need a project for why I'm doing it.
Yeah. I think me too. But I mean, like, we're both also like pretty creative guys. Like, we have a lot of stories we want to tell.
Yeah.
So I think it's easy to also like see a tutorial and then realize, wait, I could use that for my project, and then just like kind of like invest it in through that. Right?
Yeah. And that's also an amazing thing in visual effects, or generally when you're technically minded. Over time, you see much different things in the systems other people are making. They intended for something else, but you see it and you're like, my God, this gives this and that type of data. I can use it for visual effects, and you do it, and it works. It's obvious, and sometimes you also go back in time, like you take a system which is ages old, but you can make something with it, because now there are other tools which click perfectly together with this old tool nobody considers anymore because it is old, and but suddenly it makes sense again. And I love it because some people like me now talk about it, and then somebody gets inspired by it and works with it. I mean, I just gave a talk in HFF München, a film school. It was not this film school, it was like with the film school people, but for another like organization which is for innovative filmmaking and generally technical stuff. And I gave a talk there. Everybody was flashed, but I basically the main part, what I used is like 10 years old. and I also mentioned that like, this thing is 10 years old, but nobody could use it for this purpose, like doing motion capture, like machinima capture in Unreal Engine with it. But now it makes sense because you have all these tools to do that capture and edit this stuff, and also supplement it with extra animations by having entirely the same position of the character. It is like, I can teach that to somebody who has no idea about Unreal Engine within a day, and they can work with it very, very well. So that's the power of where we are right now with all this stuff. And you just see it from other people. You are like, what is this? I saw this depth generator.
Depth generator?
Depth generator, yeah, for images or videos. I saw it. A friend posted it, and on LinkedIn, they're working a lot with AI, and he is basically using it to alter the image, which comes out of the AI, but hold the position of the characters. So the image
super useful. Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought I can use it for simple textures, or I can just make a photo of a tile on the ground which has a little bit of structure in it, or from a building, and I can make a 3D parallax version and put it in my background. I don't need to make a fancy 3D scan with it and stuff like that. It just works.
Yeah.
I tested, it just works.
That's also like Ian Hubert's whole workflow is also based on
Yeah.
that. But like he even does it like super old school, like no AI tools or whatever. He just like takes a picture of something he likes. And
I
then just
believe he
builds-
already uses it, but I mean, I remember that video. It's very, very old. But that, I mean, okay, the AI is not as smooth as that. It generates a lot of useless polygons. But you can also train an AI to make a good topology. And I think there are many tools already which do that.
We can also go back. Kilua asked something earlier that we didn't address yet. Here, are you not earning more money with publishers like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and so on? Then that it gets to be shown in the cinema. So, like, do you get more money through publishers or through showing it in cinemas? I mean, it's cooler to have it in cinemas, but on streaming services, more people will see it. What means more money, or am I wrong with that? Maybe Netflix pays like nothing, and cinema is more rewarding.
Interesting that you have like your answer already in it, but very like with question marks. The thing is, Netflix pays. It depends on the contract, obviously, but a few years ago they had this contract structure. I don't know if it counted for stuff they bought from finished movie, let's say, or only their originals they also give in contract with the producers. But the thing is, they pay you a certain amount of money, and that's it. The movie can be very, very successful, and you will have nothing from it. And it can be very, very awful, and nobody watches it, and you still have got your... I think it is like they do an estimate, okay, what would be the best case and what would be the worst case, and then they put the finger on the middle and they pay you that, depending on how you can negotiate the money they should pay you for your film, or if you are willing to give the entire rights or not. If you're not giving the entire rights, there are different models of how you can make the deal with them. But when you're not giving the entire rights, you usually get much less, obviously, because over time the movie will be taken off Netflix again or Amazon, and then they can buy it again if they want, if it was successful enough, or if they are in need for similar content, they will buy it again. That's why Jurassic Park lands on Netflix and is gone, and is there again and it's gone. It's all a play from the studios too. They all try to work together to make money. Like when the next Avatar movie comes out, I can tell you the previous Avatar movies will not be able to be watched on Disney Plus for a few months because they want to sell this stuff for extra money or whatever, or on other platforms. I mean, they have this stuff like on Amazon too, but then they will only have it on Disney Plus maybe. It's all like negotiating. There's no clear way to not a singular way. And when it comes to cinema, in cinema you can, when it's a good run, you can make a lot of money. When your movie goes through the roof, like I don't know, like Oppenheimer or something. Okay, Oppenheimer cost like 100 millions. It has to go through the roof, so you can make some money from it. And another thing is on Netflix that's maybe also an outdated knowledge. After a few, I think 10 million hours watched or something, they pay a certain amount of money again to the producers, like a fee or revenue for the success of the film. So there are multiple ways to earn money, and it really depends on what you decide for your film. That's why I have not a way like, okay, I will make this film and I will have it in cinema only. I'm not in a position to make that decision. I will just make this film and I will try to put it somewhere. I will also talk to people like distributors. What do you think? Because they also want to make more money out of this thing. They will also have an opinion. They will have knowledge I don't have. And then it lands on whatever platform and hopefully spits out a lot of money.
The money.
Yeah, I do it only for the money.
Yeah, wait. I actually have something for you here. Here we go.
Here comes the money.
I should use the soundboard more often. every time when you say something, I'm like something cool.
Something about like, money.
no, but say something.
Something. I didn't hear it.
You didn't hear it? Alright, this is a very cool stream. It's like the Vine Boom, this classic like...
Okay.
Yeah, I turned it down a little bit so we don't get any echo, any reverb. Alright, Keanu says also here, thanks, my learning should definitely be more project-based instead of being a tutorial junkie. Yeah, I think try that out. Try that out. Yeah, I mean, like in the school here in the Calver school, I also want to embrace that learning type by with the open source projects, right? Like we are starting an open source project pretty soon, I hope. But yeah, I definitely also realized that that's a really good way to learn. So I wanna like make everyone who wants to learn that way participate in this open source project and like pick out what they want to work on, and then everyone has a goal for like one big finished product, right?
And this applies to everything you do in life. Sometimes you watch a tutorial about how to be a man, or I don't know, how to cook I don't know, pretzel or something. You should not try to suck up the entire knowledge of it before you start. Just watch as much as needed to get started as soon as possible. And then, even if you only watch for interest, stuff like, I don't know, about UFO or whatever, really try to be also trustful towards yourself that you can figure out a lot by yourself, because figuring it out by yourself is much stronger than learning it from someone else, because sometimes people are like, and then you do this and then they click it, and then you do this and then they click it, but they give no context of why it works and how it works and what other options you have. That was something I realized as I was working at a visual effects company, and I was surrounded by people who were experts, who worked on Lord of the Rings and whatever. And when I had a question, I just could turn around and ask them instead of Googling it or watching a tutorial for hours. And they could give me in 10 seconds the answer plus some other ways to work with it with context why it works. And then I learned a lot. And many things are made for humans. I mean, some stuff is like for super cracks. Like you can only understand it when you do like, I don't know, 5 different versions of algebra in your brain in every second. And but most things are made for humans, for normal humans, and this means you can interpolate a lot. You don't have to watch tutorial after tutorial and be insecure or without an end before you start. Just watch as little as possible to understand what you want to do. Also watch it in double speed. Just try to have no time for this bullshit. Some tutorials
to not have time.
Yeah, a lot of tutorials are like 5 minutes about their gaming channel or whatever they have. I'm like, dude, I wanna know something from you. Start it. Watch it in double speed. Try to have no time for this bullshit. Trust yourself, really. Trust yourself.
That's a great quote. Like, some things are made for humans.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Just to elaborate on that, you as a human being, since split from the ape, which is 7 million years ago, and before that, every human also had other millions of years of evolution. So we all are more similar than we are different. So when I create a tool, which I am supposed to understand, then you will understand it intuitively too. Maybe it takes you a little while, but when you have done it once, you will know how it works. And I would really recommend to only go to tutorials when you don't know something, when you have a specific question. You can also ask ChatGPT, but never ask ChatGPT too specific, like, how do I do this in Unreal Engine? Because the answer is bullshit. It doesn't work like that. But what it can give you is like some words or what you can search for. Like I was doing this 3D animated 3D stuff, like 3D scan stuff. I was scanning myself with a video with multiple cameras, and then put it in a scan, like a lot of scans, and I wanted to just play it like a video, and I didn't know how to do it, and I didn't know any program which would do that. And I didn't know what I should look for, what I should search for. And what I realized was I had a short chat with ChatGPT, and I don't know if it was ChatGPT or if it was me, but it definitely helped to work with ChatGPT there. I came with the term like flip book. And it's like a flip book. You're flipping from one animation to another, like frames. And it's called like that, 3D scan flipbook.
Sometimes it just makes sense there.
Yeah, I mean, just to figure out where you're going, because oftentimes you have a question and you have absolutely no idea what to look for, and that can be challenging, but ChatGPT can help.
Ali, like we are at the final segment of this of our interview. Like we are already like way over time, like almost 2 hours.
Interesting.
So I want to ask you if you would still have time and if you would like to do the kind of like mental exercise that I like to do with my guests at the end of every interview, which is like, I think I did this with you in private already, like in the past, where I ask you to imagine things and you tell me what you see, right?
Mm.
Would you be down for that to like do again live?
I just remember you came to me and you were like, really randomly, we were setting up motion capture in the office.
Yeah.
I was sitting there and then Calvin appears behind me like as if something very bad happened, Ali. And I was like, what? Can you imagine an apple? I thought he's kidding me. I'm like, what are you? Why? Of course I can imagine an apple. Why? And then he was like, I can't. I'm like, what? You can't? Why not?
But it was Chris was also there, and it was really interesting. He said he can't, like he doesn't have any visual imagination. Yeah.
Many people can't. This is interesting. Many people can't imagine stuff. Yeah.
At least visually. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm tortured by it every day.
I think actually, like most people I interviewed here, they have very vivid, clear imagination.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have anyone who didn't see anything yet. Yeah. But so, the question remains, do you want to do it again? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that was the only thing we did back then. Like, can you imagine an apple? What?
I'm gonna start with the apple again, then we're gonna continue.
Okay.
But okay, so, yeah, let's do it. So, I want you to close your eyes so you can just see your imagination clearly. And just walk me through everything you see, right? Like tell me whenever something pops into your mind, whatever. Yeah, I just want to be like in full view on what you are experiencing.
Okay, interesting.
All right, so let's just start off with the basic of an apple. Imagine an apple and tell me what you see.
Okay, I see the apple. It is not just red or green. It is both. It is like having both colors. On the upper left side, it is reddish. On the lower right side, it is greenish. But the transition is also not like gradual, but more like a little bit noisy, like a cow. But also smeared on the crossings. And now I turn it. I see this little thing that sticks out of the upper part.
Like the branch on top?
Yeah. And now I cut it. I open it. I see the cores in it and the whitish beige color inside. It is becoming wet, like the juice is coming out. And now I split one part, the other part flies away, and I eat one.
It's just to like quickly stop you for a moment. It's really interesting. You like things keep happening, right? Like you tell me, like you split the apple and stuff. Does that just happen by itself, or is it like you want to do those things?
I wanted to do it.
Okay,
but sometimes it just happens, and I just watch it, and while it happens, I also interact with it like a game.
I see. So you're actually like actively thinking, oh, I would like to cut it right now. So like you do it, and like you're already interacting with it visually.
I see it, and I'm like, oh, I would like to cut it.
And then you just do it.
Yeah, like in a game.
I see, interesting. That's also, I guess in the past, like that happens sometimes with my guests, but most of them were like, okay, I did this, now tell me what to do now, right? So, but it's interesting that you just keep on going by yourself. So yeah, I would say let's continue for a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I would like to hear if you have an environment, if there was an environment from the beginning, or if an environment just starts appearing now.
Any kind of environment,
what environment would just appear in front of you if you would want one?
I see it actually through like a film perspective. Like I see a shot like from the environment, like an aerial shot, and it is immediately there. It is not like. But sometimes I'm like looking at a spot, and I'm like, it would be nice when something, I don't know, a barrel would be there, and then there would be mud, like mud on it, and
so you're already thinking about detail that you would like to see that.
Yeah. Because every time when you have a cinematic view on something, you have a focus, like this is where the eye is looking at.
And what makes it feel like a cinematic shot for you? Like, why do you say that?
Because I see it from that perspective, like it's a movie, like it's a shot.
So you see kind of like a letterbox or something like that?
Yeah, not the letterbox. I just see the image, how it should, from what perspective it should be shown, and how it should feel. The pacing also, like the movement, and also music.
Ah, okay. So it like the whole way you imagine it already feels like a scene.
I can see it. I just can just watch it.
So is it for you like less like a experience where it feels like you are in that place of the viewer, or it's more like a kind of like God perspective of like being a viewer of a movie?
I have control, and I have to have control over that. I have to be creative, like, okay, what could happen after this? And then I can, like, when I have a situation where I have also characters in it, and they do something, they maybe talk to each other, and while they talk to each other, they do something. I can, like, interact, like, with myself, like, creating a scene.
So you can imagine yourself like standing there and interacting with.
I'm like kinda every character. I'm like every time someone says something or does something, I'm like this character or multiple characters at the same time, like watching them, like puppeteering them all at the same time.
Interesting. All right. Okay. Then I also found interesting that you already had like all the detail of the apple in mind. Like when you imagine things, is it easy for you to like go in really detail and like think of all the little things that you would see on the apple
I just see
surface?
I just see it and then tell how it looks.
Oh, okay. So there's no kind, yeah, as you said, like there's no kind of like development or building up. It's just like immediately
Yeah,
full
it's just
crystal clear.
Yeah.
You can just like,
It's not fully crystal clear. It can become crystal clear, but when you had you ever this situation where you were falling asleep and then back and then sleep and back?
yeah,
This
yeah.
and what was interesting to me was I was thinking of something and seeing it like, okay, you don't see stuff, but that was
I do see stuff. I think
Okay.
you remember that a bit differently.
and what was interesting was when I was falling asleep, it was not just something I saw, but something that suddenly surrounded me, like I was like sucked into it, like or it became 3-dimensional around me, and then back again, and then and I was just like falling asleep and waking up like 4 or 5 times. I thought that was a very interesting experience. But yeah, normally when I just try to imagine a picture like from an apple, it's like a little bit volatile. I can see that apple or another apple, or I can rotate it without wanting it to rotate, then rotate it back, obviously.
Oh, with volatile, you mean like things sometimes just change without you wanting them to change?
Yeah.
I see.
And maybe a little bit fuzzy, maybe not so clear. So to comment on something, to manifest it, like, okay, this is a reddish green apple. I have to look at that aspect of it and cement it, like this is a reddish green apple. It is not a yellowish green apple. It is not a pink apple. It is this kind of apple.
You really
Then
have
it
to
becomes sharper.
concentrate. I see. Okay. Yeah.
Then I see the freckles of green and red, and when I cut it, of course, everybody knows how an apple looks from the inside. But then I suddenly see, from memory maybe, how the structure inside is and how it wets when you cut it.
I also found interesting that you already like had the other senses coming in, like you said, like you talked about music and I think also taste, right? You ate eating the apple,
Yeah,
and that's like those senses are very clear, like they almost feel like reality. Or
Yeah.
like, yeah.
yeah.
How about touch? Like when you imagine like touching something, can you kind of like imagine or like feel that feeling of a real touch?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if with people, I just imagined while we were asking, like taking some stone tablet from something and putting it out, to feel how the structure, like this dry and a little bit stony surface. I can definitely, I know and feel, not like feel it like on my fingertips, but it's like I already have the details how it
Like
would
you
be
could
like.
describe it, but you
Yeah.
don't actually feel the sensation.
Yeah,
I see. Yeah.
and with taste it is like with smell. I think enough to become hungry when I imagine like my favorite food, and I'm like, fuck, it's torturing.
The memories of the sensation of that moment come back.
Yeah. Yeah.
The highness.
Yeah, interesting questions. I never ask myself stuff like that.
Yeah, most people don't, because like yeah, it's natural to just assume that everyone thinks and sees the world like as you do yourself, right? So, but yeah, it's not really the case. So it's really interesting to like explore that. I think. Kind of thinking, I would like to test. Oh, one more thing, like a few more things maybe. can you kind of like overlay your imagination on front of your real vision?
Yeah.
Like you can like easily imagine like an apple sitting on the table.
Yeah.
No,
I just imagined the apple here, like,
inside of that
and then falling in.
physics simulation.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of the same thing as having the eyes closed, but you also have like the other elements around you, like this stuff interacting with the real world, and sometimes someone can just take your attention while you were thinking of something. I mean, I am thinking like that. I'm like looking at some surface and then imagining like this surface is changing. Like when I look at a building with the windows all around, and I'm thinking of something to structure, like, okay, how do we structure this shot type and this shot type in our shoot schedule? Then I take the windows as representatives and push them apart and puzzle them, and then I see something on the building and I'm like, oh, this could be like something like this, and then it inspires me, the structure of the building.
Interesting. Yeah.
It inspires me to overthink my pipeline.
Well, one more thing I would like to try out with you is kind of like abstraction, right? Because everything you told me up to this point was like pretty reality based. So I would like you to imagine, like maybe go back into your like mental imagination place and try to imagine that apple becoming liquid.
Yeah, I can imagine that, but I realize it becomes jumpy. Like I don't have an idea of how it dissolves to fluid. It's like apple, and then it's like a little bit of wobbly, and then
So it's like glitching out in the
yeah,
matrix.
it's not really creative. I think if we would do the same thing with visual effects, yours would be much more interesting than mine, because you would have a much better idea of what could happen to this apple to become a fluid.
So, okay, but yeah, I feel like in general, like you're really based in reality with your storytelling and like your ideas too, like in the physical world at least.
Yeah.
Maybe let's try something else again. Like, can you imagine yourself? Like, can you look at yourself like a representation of yourself?
Yeah.
All right, so.
But I don't know if it is completely accurate. Even if I have a large mirror from you guys in my room and see myself every day.
Yeah, you should have a good idea of how you look like now.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back there. Yeah, you see yourself, and can you imagine yourself, for example, now that you know how I look, can you imagine yourself morphing into me?
Yeah, but it's really strange.
How does it look like? What happens?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing which I see is our posture is a little bit different. And I mean, I'm like always sagged a little bit, and you're always like
chillaxing.
Yeah. And that's the odd thing that happens. Like the posture changes, but it's very quick. It's like
It's almost like a cut, or still like a morph?
it's a morph, but it's also very, very funky. Like
Okay, can you imagine that person in front of you now, kind of like becoming zero gravity, kind of like floating away, like kind of like struggling?
Yeah. That's actually pretty easy for me to imagine movement. Imagine movement how it should be. I think that's why I love animation, because it's like you imagine something and you build it, you can animate it, and I did a lot by just hand animating, and you don't know if it was hand animated. The first animation I made with a rig, I was doing a tutorial in my free time at Pixomondo.
Oh, you remember? I saw that. Yeah.
And it was a backflip. And I knew how a backflip looked like because I was doing parkour. And I just built this animation how you would move your body when you would do a backflip. And then the animators saw it and they were completely flashed like, what? You're not an animator. How did you make something look like this? Like, I know how a backflip looks.
It's just a backflip, guys.
Yeah, I mean, it is also a little bit physics based. You even in zero gravity, you always have a little bit of velocity forward, backward, depending on what you did when you grabbed something and just pushed yourself. You will have like moving, like maybe your ass is rotating and your head goes away, and then you can just push yourself together and then turn and then grab something, some stuff like that. That is really easy to for me, like imagining movement. I think that's why many of my stories or my films are very physical in that sense. People are moving around all the time. Like, you have these wide shots always, like you see the feet sticking on the ground, because I love that. I love people walking around surfaces.
All right, cool. I mean, yeah, with that, we pretty much finished the interview.
Wrap it up.
I just want to let you guys know, if you want to check out Ali's stuff or want to connect with him, there's his guest link right there. It's to his Instagram page. So check it out. Follow this guy.
I mostly don't post anything, but I want to post more things. So you guys know I try to. Mostly I don't.
But when he does post things, they are always very cool. So it's definitely worth it.
At least that.
All right, dude. Yeah, thank you very much for coming on. Was a pleasure.
I will go back where I come from. It's far.
Yeah, very far.
Very far.
On his travels for days. It would be so funny, just like then we switch to the classic like interview setup, like this, and you appear here again in your room.
Yeah. Funny.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, thank you for listening, guys.
All right. Yeah, with that, I'm gonna stop the stream for a moment, and then we're gonna do a bit shorter Create Together stream now. I still want to do like an hour, so I'll see you guys in like 10 minutes again, and then we're gonna create some stuff together. All right.